Dr. Nur Halim Yunus, great pleasure having you on the show. Thank you very much for joining us on Hello Malaysia. A lot for us to learn with regards to MTDC and its training academy. That's what we want to talk about today. Now, when we talk about MTDC, we know that it just launched its Technopreneur Training Academy. This happened circa April 2017, which is just last month. Now, can you please elaborate the objectives and, if you can, walk us through the expectations of this training academy?
Okay, thank you. Well, we have been conducting a lot of trainings, yeah? And we have been training entrepreneurs for many, many years. And we have been training university lecturers on technology transfer and commercialization also for many years. And we have also worked with the Wisma Putra to offer our trainings overseas. We have done training in for African countries, for Egyptians, for Kazakhstan's professionals. So a lot of these trainings are related to commercialization, technology transfer, and any subjects that are related to this. So with this coming, shall I say, our Silver Jubilee, 25th year of MTDC, so we decided to create a brand where we can actually park all these trainings under one roof, so to speak. So that's why we have this MTDC Training Academy, or MTDC Academy, which we call TENTRA. What we plan to do is that we want to consolidate all our trainings, and this will include training for entrepreneurs, which is the most important one for us, because we fund a lot of entrepreneurs via our funds, because we have 6 funds now. We are managing on behalf of the government. So that's the most important one, because we're going to have training for entrepreneurs, those that we fund. But we will also fund, we also train academicians who are involved in commercialization and technology transfer. And the third one is that we have had a lot of interest and requests from the public to also attend our training, because previously our trainings are closed in-house. So these are the reason why we are having this academy. And of course, the final one, and I think this is also the most important one, is that we intend the academy programs to complement all our other activities. When I mean all our other activities, I mean we fund companies, we fund entrepreneurs, and that's the funding side. But fund is not everything. It is important, it is needed, but it does not ensure success. Therefore, we also have other services that we bring in together with the fund. So we have our technology development centers at universities, where our fund recipients can can rent a space and be located within the university campuses. And the third one that we have done for the TENTRA Malaysia plan is that we also have advisory services. We have financing advisory, we have marketing advisory, we have business development services as well. So taking all this into account, we want to complement all these activities together with the academy, so that any entrepreneur who comes to MTDC for funding is not only given money, because as I said, money is not everything. Yeah. So the person will also be able to undergo training at MTDC, and the other thing that I must emphasize here is that we have funded so many companies and entrepreneurs, and they are all willing to come back and assist the new entrepreneurs. So all of this will be offered under our academy.
Right. But before we talk about going to the focus, let's go back a little bit and look at what you're talking about. You moved into other countries, you've helped other countries, yes. Or MTDC has gone out there and given help to other countries. Now, what lessons have we learned from helping other countries, and what can we bring back home here?
Okay. Now, we have been doing our training programs overseas, and actually the most important thing that I can say here, and this actually is true all over the world, that innovation is not something that you can cut and paste. A lot of us, sometimes when we talk to people, they always talk about the Silicon Valley model. which is totally not something that you can cut and paste. New
because
York,
the dynamics are different.
yes, New York doesn't have a Silicon Valley environment. So I think that is the most important one. Whenever we present our experience in Malaysia to other countries, we always emphasize on that, innovation is about doing something new. It is definitely not cut and paste, and it is incongruent with the very definition of innovation itself.
Now, when we talk about the training academy, you must start with a focus or an objective,
yes,
and then move on to different areas of expertise. Now, when you start off the academy, or when the academy started, the main objective, let's walk through
yes,
that now.
Now, the first thing is that we have a program where we are seeding. I mean, this is a venture capital word that we use, yeah, seeding young entrepreneurs. So we call the name of the program is Symbiosis, which is from the biological terms, which, mutual benefits, symbiosis. So we have this program where we will get a batch. We will have a batch of entrepreneurs, maybe about 30 of them per batch, where we will then train them to be able to receive technology, because these technology development processes involve 3 phases, right? The first thing is that we need to get people to be able to receive technology. Of course, the first...
How do you mean, let's go a little deeper.
Yeah.
How do you mean receive technology?
Now, a lot of challenges moving forward in the area of technology transfer and commercialization is, first you have to have the interest to receive technology, meaning that you know that there is a need for innovation, right? Then for you to be able to receive it involves several processes. You have to identify the technology. Where is it? First you have to identify where is the technology that you need, right? And then you have to actually undergo the process of negotiating with the source of technology. How do you transfer it, right? And then you have then to look at what are the infrastructures that you need, soft and hard, for you to be able to receive it. That's what I mean when we say to receive. Because moving forward, even if we were to look at our SMEs, we need to create this environment where we have entrepreneurs who are able to receive. Now, within this able to receive it, I'm talking about, of course, there is also the interest to receive, right? So what we are trying to do now here is in this academy is that we train the entrepreneurs from the very beginning of the journey. Right? Okay, I now want to be an technopreneur, right? So I need to source for technology. How do you source for technology? How do you evaluate the technology? How do you validate it? How do you check whether this is scalable or not? These are all the things that we will train.
The checks and balances, so to speak.
Yes, because a lot of discussion with people who generate technology, they will always believe that their technology will solve the world's problem, right? I mean, it's quite normal, not just in Malaysia, anywhere in the world. Most researchers will say that their market is potential market, according to them, will be in the billions.
So you need to sift through this firstly.
Definitely,
yeah.
Definitely. So there is a process of doing that.
Now, what's interesting about the training academy is its name. It's called TENTRA. TENTRA.
Right.
It's a play of words. Now, explain the name to us.
Yes, I mean, well, anyway, we are in Malaysia, so TENTRA is like TENTRA. It's army, and from a strategic point of view, from a marketing point of view, this dovetail very well we want to do.
Right.
Yeah, because a lot of marketing strategies, in fact, the marketing strategies is based on
that sort of a boot camp feel.
A boot camp feel, also the concept, because marketing strategies, a lot of them are based on military maneuvers.
Right.
Right. You have frontal attack, you have flank attack, you have isolation, guerrilla warfare. Those are all taken from the military. So when we say TENTRA, in a way, it indicates that you go into the market, you have to fight. Yeah, especially if you're talking
you're going
about
out there for war, you're preparing.
Yes, you have to. If you're doing techno products, the day you enter the market, you are not competing with domestic companies. The day you enter the market, you are competing with world companies, because your product is not something that you are meant for domestic market.
Of course, all of us were at one time very happy of the fact that the globalization is around the corner. You need to embrace it, and this is certainly embracing globalization, getting yourself prepared to be able to stand with international companies.
Yes. In fact, one of the other things I mentioned earlier on, that we are not an academic institution. We don't have a physical place that we're going to call an academy. No, it's a program. And one of the most important thing about our academy will be that we're going to have entrepreneurs who have made it, or even who have actually failed at their initial projects, to come back and share. Because this is the capital that is very important. Now, you can have capital which is financial in nature. You need that, because if you don't have money, you cannot do anything. But knowledge capital is, if I can say, even more important. And some knowledge capital you cannot generate without having the experience. For example, what is your experience of your failure of your market validation? These are the things that you can't get in an academic setting. So what we're going to do is that we're going to bring back all our successful entrepreneurs, as well as those who have failed in some of their endeavors, to come back and share
bring
with
their
us.
experience, their exposure back.
Yes.
And this is important, because you can't go to a supermarket and buy this experience or exposure.
You can't.
You need to hear it from the people themselves, who's been on the ground, who has a ear to the ground, and who can bring it back and translate that into data and information. Now, what's interesting about a program is you always look, or when you come into various training programs, there's a list of things that happen within a program. So can you walk us through what's available under the Training Academy as programs?
Well, some of the things that would be required for our entrepreneurs will be, for example, I said, the business model canvas. This would be probably offered by other people as well, because BMC now is very popular. But in our case, a lot of our BMC case study will be our own projects. So we are not going to take BMC based on Google, Facebook, or what have you from the Silicon Valley, because
as you rightly pointed out, you have your own module now. You have your own people to bring this back.
So we're going to have BMC studies, case sharing, and also development based on our own fund recipients. Of course, then we're going to have the other things related to commercialization and transfer. As I mentioned earlier on, there's technology evaluation, there's market validation, there's upscaling, feasibility studies, and things that are related to undertaking this kind of businesses.
Well, the Symbiosis program goes on for about 6 months. Then there are short-term programs. Can you walk us through the differences between these two? Okay,
the Symbiosis program is basically a long, not a long term, but it is a program which we deliver to the participants. And at the end of the day, they're going to form a company, and they're going to apply for our fund, and they're going to have a technology. So it takes several months. But we're going to have standalone programs, which also can be open to the public. Okay, so the difference is that the Symbiosis program will include all the components that we believe will prepare the entrepreneurs to start their own company. But we're going to have standalone programs which will actually be beneficial to people who are already in the business.
So you're catering to various demographics. You're even looking at ministries and government agencies.
Yes, because we are a technology development organization. So besides funding entrepreneurs, we also work with policymakers as well as universities to get them to be comfortable with the idea of technology transfer and commercialization. So we also have programs where we work with universities professors and researchers, so that they are comfortable with the idea of actually, I have developed this technology, I cannot commercialize it on my own. Now I'm going to license it out. What is the processes? What are the processes required to do this? And what are the loopholes? What are the pitfalls that I need to look into or to be prepared for? So those are the things that we also train for. Yeah.
But with programs like this, what's interesting is if you're reaching out to people who are tech-savvy, technopreneurs, so to speak, it's easy, just giving them the options, telling them these are the tools, this is how you use these tools. Now with people, saying if you're working with a government agency, which is, for the lack of a better word, archaic, and you want to bring them to the modern world, will this training academy be able to prepare them?
For sure, because I think, again, I will have to emphasize that we are not theoretical scientists. We are not theorists. We are practical people. So when we talk to people, we are going to have real-life case studies, be it a failure, an example of a failure in commercialization and why it fails, or a successful case study. And you can actually look at this, approach these topics from a point of view of entrepreneur, from a policymaker perspective, from an academician perspective. And these are all doable, and it can be. It is something that we plan to do. Yeah.
Earlier on, you pointed out that there are training academies out there.
Yep.
Now, how different is TENTRA going to be from other training academies within the country?
Sure.
What are the value-added things that are going to be given to people who come on board for training?
Right. Okay, first thing first, I have said just now, we are not an academic training center. Definitely not. We are not competing with any other academic training centers at the universities or any of the other organizations. So what we're going to be different is that one is that we're going to focus on techno business totally. Everything that we do is going to be focused on starting, creating, developing a technology-based business. That's the first thing. Second thing is that we are going to involve the entrepreneurs themselves, those that we have funded. In fact, I keep saying to all of them, look, we have given you these grants, it's time you come and pay back. We don't want your money. We want your networks. We want your experience. So what will be different is that when we have this program, not only there will be an interaction at the knowledge level where I'm going to share my experience, but for MTDC fund recipients, it will be also an interaction on the networks, because you can't get networks that easily. If I were to see you outside without being introduced, you will have second thought of, shall I trust you or not? But here in MTDC, because all of us are related via MTDC, it has been, so it's already stamped approval. So what we plan to do is that the academy will also be a kind of a club where networks are shared. For example, if I've been to Indonesia, right? I've grown my business in Indonesia. I'm going to come back to MTDC Academy. I'm going to share with you what is my experience, as well as I'm going to share the networks. And these are things that you cannot buy, right? But this is something that you can share because everybody is a member of MTDC ecosystem. Right.
Now, with the MTDC ecosystem, I'm sure it's exciting times for MTDC simply because the training academy is here, the new people coming in, you're looking at other ways of networking, but I'm sure there are challenges at this point. Now, what would be one of the hurdles at this point for TENTRA as a training academy?
Now, for us, first and foremost, the people that we want to train, we already have one, we have identified them. One, the other thing is that we already have running programs. So, for example, we have 2 cohorts of symbiosis this year. So that will continue and it will be formalized under the umbrella of TENTRA. Then we also conduct trainings on behalf of the Ministry of Higher Education for researchers, for academicians at universities, polytechs and community college. So those are also running, right? And we also have running programs with Ms. Maputra for foreigners to come and attend. So those are programs that will be running, and we are basically formalizing the whole thing under the academy. But the next thing that we want to do, and again I mentioned this just now, is that the public wants to attend our program.
Right.
Okay, these are the things that are managing the expectations, and also looking at what are the specifics that they want to learn about. Yeah.
When you say the public, do you mean companies, or rather private companies, or just individuals who are wanting to take this up?
We are more addressing the needs of individual entrepreneurs.
Fantastic.
Yeah? Especially, I mean, I must stress this. We have 90% of SMEs, right? For us to move forward, to be competitive, we need to go up the innovation value chain. But they cannot just willy-nilly go into the innovation value chain. They have to learn about it. And for them to learn about it, to be comfortable about innovating, they have to learn from somebody who have done it. People who has done it, people who have done it. So this is what we're trying to do. Yeah, we're trying to get those who have been doing this to talk to those who are learning the rope. So these are very exciting for us.
Now, when you go back to people who have already been trained, who've been funded, been groomed by MTDC, so to speak, and say, look, we need your help, we want you to come back, we're starting this program, and we want you to be a part of it. What's the response from the people who've been with the program before?
I'm not sure whether I can say. I'm not sure whether we are different, but for us, like even me, I make it a point to have a very strong relationship with all our fund recipients. Our relationship is not just here's the money, go and spend it. No. So we have over these years, 25 years, we have developed relationships with all our fund recipients, and they know that we're trying to assist not just you, but the entrepreneurs at large too. So whenever we talk to them, say, look, I need you to come back because we don't need you to pay us the money. but we need you to share. Now, it's all very positive, because at the end of the day, this is what you call the sharing economy. You know, the sharing economy is not about Uber only. Yeah, okay, that's sharing. But I need to share your knowledge. And that is probably the most expensive capital that any entrepreneur will wish to have.
But the other exciting thing, when we talk about sharing knowledge and entrepreneurship and technopreneurship, there's always areas that we focus on. It's always urban parts of Malaysia. Now, if you look at our brothers and sisters in Sabah and Sarawak, how are you going to even out the playing field with regards to sharing the knowledge all around?
We have been conducting our training programs all over Malaysia. We have specific training, well, not specific, meaning that we normally do it East Coast, Central, North Coast, Northern, Southern, and then we have one each for Sabah and one each for Sarawak. So with this academy, we are going to continue doing that. But what we plan to do after this, once we have, you know, sort of shall we say, we have done some more programs after this.
Right.
We're going to work with partners in Sabah and Sarawak as well. Because for Sabah and Sarawak, the other thing that we want to do is we want to work with SMEs. Right. Because we want to get them to be more interested to work with universities, not just to commercialize, but to work together in the transfer of knowledge.
Now, the other thing is about applying into the program. How easy or how hard would it be to apply into the program?
We will make announcement from time to time. For those who are within our ecosystem, of course, those are, you know, we have compulsory programs for those who have been approved our funds. So, you know, they don't have to apply, right? Symbiosis participants are a program that we conduct, you know. But outside that, we're going to have announcement on public programs, and those will be available on our websites, on our Facebook, Twitters, and Instagram as well.
So, and when you look at the training academy from here and in the next 5 years, because you've been at MTDC for 25 years, and I think you're going to be there for a long time.
I don't know.
In the next 5 years, where do you see this going?
So we, personally, you know, I would like to. I've done this. I mean, we have done this slowly. I mean, initial tentative steps, because we want to grow this academy together with our international business development. You know, what we're doing now is that we are assisting our companies to go outside, to export, and we are doing this with, especially in ASEAN. So we also are doing this in the Middle East. So we have been doing this with Wisma previously in a small way, training certain countries together with Wisma Putra. So let's say 5 years from now, we want to develop our academy to be with modules that are international in nature, so that we can offer it to our partners in other parts of the world. I mean, we have been doing
international in nature. How do you simplify that for us?
Especially we talk about technology transfer and commercialization, right? So the basic of the program is easily transferable. You know, you can bring the module to any country in the world. Now the specifics of it, then that's where the innovation comes in, right? Because you need to tailor innovation according to the ecosystem. So once our academy is established and the modules are developed, we could actually go anywhere with the basic module on actually how do you transfer technology from university to SMEs. What are the processes involved? Then the specific of it, those are the things that we will leave it to the participants to develop themselves. So it has to be on a it cannot be prescriptive. It is more descriptive. Right? These are the processes, and how do you develop it? And I can assure you that based on what we have done with these countries, you know, East African, Kazakhstan, Egyptian, you know, we have a lot of experience to share. So once we have formalized this, we want to bring it, you know, outside.
To bring it outside. Now, with regards to SMEs within the country, this is the driving force to take our economy to the next level. Do you think the awareness is good, or there's more that can be done with regards to educating themselves, equipping themselves with tools?
Now, I think in terms of awareness of the need to climb the innovation value chain, I think everybody is aware. You know, but the issue is that I think the challenge is that being SMEs, normally they are very focused on operations. You know, their day-to-day operation. So what we need to do is to make this transition, this arrangement, the relationship between SMEs and the source of knowledge, which are the universities and research institutes, smoother. That's why both parties need to know how do you work together. That's why what we're trying to do. That's why I said just now, people must be able to receive. They know what to do and how to actually receive the technology. They know that they need the technology. So that's why we're trying to do this, because I think moving forward, the needs of SME to adopt technology is, everybody knows about it. They need to have. But how do you actually assist them to receive this? And this is what we're trying to do.
Right. And I guess you keep going back to, you need to receive it. You need to open yourself up and even open your mind to be receptive to technology and embrace technology. A lot of us shy away from it. I guess that's one of the bigger problems that we have. And I think to move forward, we need to open up.
Yeah. I mean, I think the other thing is that a lot of discussion on technology is about cutting edge. Everybody wants to be the Google of this world, but we must remember that Google is what they call it, a unicorn. It's one in I don't know, 100 million, whatever. So when we talk about technology to the SMEs, we're not necessarily talking about cutting edge. We are talking about injecting a strategic level of technology which can add value to their efficiency and productivity. It doesn't have to be cutting edge, but they must be open to the idea. I'm going to work with the universities, right? That's the first thing. Say there are 3 steps: receive, utilize, and finally you innovate. So if you are comfortable in receiving, then you utilize the innovation. Later, then you'll be comfortable to innovate yourself.
Right. On that note, Dato', it was a pleasure and an honor having you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us, and all the best to TENTRA and MTDC.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.